Welcome, age of vintage society. The late Mexican star Lupe Velez's life was tragically short, but she lived it with passion and laughter. Her words, "I'm getting to the place where the only thing I'm afraid of is life itself," still echoes in the minds of those who knew her. Despite the struggles of being a Mexican in Hollywood, she radiated an unbridled joy for life until her very last days. Lupe Velez, Hollywood's original bad girl, who wasn't afraid to throw a punch. I want you to know, my viewers, how much I appreciate you. Without your support, these videos wouldn't be possible. Thank you for those who hit the thanks button and for the Patreons. With a striking appearance and a solid athletic build, she was a petite woman with a round face, framed by a thick bob of dark hair. Her features were large and expressive, and she had a bright, warm smile. Moreover, the voluptuous body with a wide waist and a large butt proved Hollywood's signature style. Her wardrobe often consisted of low-cut, brightly coloured dresses that showed off her curves, and with these incredible features, Lupe Velez was considered an incredibly talented entertainer. Well, she was not an ordinary woman, as she was a dancer, singer and actress too, known for her comedic roles, which earned her name in the film industry even after having the tag of Mexican woman on her career. That's why she was one of the first Mexican actresses to achieve mainstream success and recognition. She was a beloved figure in the Latinx community and was often called the Bride of Mexico, who overcame many obstacles in her life and inspired many people, as Velez was one of the first Latinas to break through the barriers of the Hollywood studio system. She was the first Latina to be signed under a major studio contract and the first to be featured in a leading role. Velez was named all-round diva in Hollywood, who brought a unique energy and style to her roles as she starred in various films, including Mexican Spitfire, The Girl from Mexico, and Hot Pepper. The talented comedic actress gave every script a life through her effervescent personality and zest, which made her the most favourite actress of the audience. Not only an actress, but Velez was also a vocal advocate for Latinas in Hollywood, who was nominated for the Academy Award, and a vocal critic of the racism and discrimination that Latinas face in the industry. She took full advantage of her name, and that's why she was an important figure in the fight for Hollywood representation and a prominent figure in Hollywood during the 1920s and 30s. Because her strong personality and unique appearance made her stand out from other Hollywood stars, she was known for her fiery temper and outrageous behaviour, which made her admired and feared by other stars. Her exotic Latin American heritage and flamboyant dress made her a press favourite, and she has often been photographed in her signature dramatic gowns and feathered headdresses. Though she was widely admired for her talent and charisma, some of her fellow stars viewed her with suspicion. They saw her as a wild, unpredictable woman who could not be trusted. Her outspokenness and willingness to stand up to the Hollywood establishment also earned her some enemies. Well, despite her reputation, Velez was a firecracker woman whose larger-than-life personality and willingness to challenge the status quo made her a hero to many. She was famously known as the Mexican Spitfire. She was an electrifying actress in Hollywood. Her fiery temper was legendary, and she was known to be unafraid to speak her mind and stand up for herself. She was a passionate woman driven by her emotions and refused to let anyone stand in her way. Velez was not afraid to take risks and was often seen doing daring stunts, such as her infamous dive off a cliff into a pool of water. Well, we can't deny that she was a hot-blooded woman who was unafraid to take risks and follow her heart, as Velez was a passionate and fearless woman who lived on her terms. But at the same time she was also an actress with a turbulent personality that often caused her several problems. Her temperamental outbursts and rebellious attitude proved to be a barrier to her success, as she was a passionate performer and had a strong desire to be taken seriously as a dramatic actress. However, many people in Hollywood didn't take her seriously. She often lashed out in anger and frustration, mainly when she felt ignored or disrespected. Not only this, but her reputation was damaged by her numerous love affairs, which often led to public outbursts and arguments. Despite her turbulent personality, Velez was known for her hard-to-act roles and unique style that captivated audiences. However, she was still unable to change her fiery personality, as it was over the years due to her difficult childhood. So she was born in San Luis Potosi, Mexico. Her parents were of mixed Spanish and Indian heritage. She was born into a world where girls were expected to stay home and take care of the family, but Lupe had other plans. She was determined to pursue her dreams and find her path. From a young age she had a love for performing and moved to Hollywood to pursue a career in acting. With her father taking her to theatre performances and her mother teaching her traditional Mexican folk dances, she often put on shows for her family, friends and neighbours, and was determined to pursue a career in show business. When she was 14, her whole family moved to Mexico City, where she joined a theatre troupe that travelled throughout the country. At 17, Lupe left Mexico to pursue a career in Hollywood. She arrived in Los Angeles in 1925 with only $60 in her pocket and a burning ambition to make it as an actress. She quickly found work in minor movie roles and nightclubs, and soon began to make a name for herself. Lupe's big break came in 1929 when she was cast in the hit musical revue No, No, Nanette. She went on to star in musicals, comedies and dramas for the next decade, often playing the role of the feisty, energetic Latina. In the 1930s, Lupe's career took off, and she became a major star in Hollywood. She was now appearing in high-profile films alongside some of the mighty names in the business, such as Clark Gable and Jean Harlow. Lupe was known for her beauty and fiery personality throughout her career. She was often seen in public with a cigarette in one hand and a highball glass in the other. Despite her hard-living lifestyle, she was a hard worker determined to make it in a business dominated by men. Her early life may have been difficult, but she refused to be defined by her humble beginnings. Instead, she embraced her heritage and used it to fuel her drive to succeed. At first, Velez was a dancer, touring with various companies and eventually making her way to the United States. She quickly made a name for herself, appearing in several films. She was known for her not-to-mess-up-with personality and ability to bring life to any role she played. Her charisma and talent quickly made her one of the most popular stars. Lupe was not content to stay in Hollywood and not follow the path set out for her. She wanted to make her path, and she did just that. Her transition to the big screen was victorious, earning her roles in the musical Broadway Melody. Her most successful, perhaps most memorable role was as a Mexican Spitfire Carmelita in the 1930s and 40s. She was also a famous comedian, often appearing in films as a seductive Latin woman. From 1936 to 1947 she starred in 6 Mexican Spitfire films, which were comedies that focused on her character's spicy personality. Throughout her career, Velez also appeared in other films, often playing the role of a strong-willed and determined woman. In addition to her film roles, she established her own production company and created her projects. She became a successful businesswoman, becoming the first female head of a major movie studio. Moreover, Velez also had a successful recording career. She released several recordings of Latin music, including La Cucaracha and Viva Mexico. She also recorded several duets with male singers, such as Bésame Mucho with Mario Lanza. She was one of the highest-paid actresses of her time and was recognized for her talent and beauty. She even had a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a testament to her success, and the main reason behind her sky-reaching success was her quintessential Mexican femme fatale. With her dark eyes, fiery sensuality, and larger-than-life personality, she was a force to be reckoned, therefore gained fame for her wild and scandalous lifestyle. She was known to be the badass woman, with outlandish and outrageous behaviour. She was never one to shy away from the spotlight, and her antics often kept her in it. Lupe Velez was constantly in the headlines, from affairs with Hollywood's biggest stars to public fights with her husband. She was known for her wild temper, often getting into screaming matches with her partners. Her behaviour was so out of control that she was even arrested for physical assault during one of her fights. Her gatherings were notorious for their drunkenness, debauchery, and wild behaviour. She was known to invite the most infamous Hollywood bad boys to her parties, and often ended up in the tabloids for her outrageous behaviour. Lupe Velez's scandalous personality was so notorious that it made her one of the most recognisable names in Hollywood during her time, as she was never one to shy away from controversy. In the 1920s she was one of the few women to reject traditional gender roles openly, and spoke out against the sexism and racism she experienced in Hollywood. And in the 1930s Lupe was one of the first Mexican actresses to break into Hollywood. She defied the expectations placed upon her by refusing to conform to the stereotypes of the time. She refused to be typecast, instead portraying characters who fought traditional gender roles. In addition to her rebellious nature, Lupe was also a strong advocate for women's rights. She spoke out against the mistreatment of women in Hollywood and fought for equal pay and better working conditions. She was a vocal supporter of the feminist movement, often speaking out to support women's rights. Though she could be wild and reckless, Lupe Velez was also a kind-hearted and generous woman on the other side of the story. Yes, we could say she was the villain of her own story, but a hero to many others. She was passionate about helping those in need and was often seen participating in charitable causes. She had a big heart and was willing to help anyone in need. Velez was even named a helping hand to many and was known for her willingness to go the extra mile for those she loved. In fact, she helped many children to complete their studies and pursue their dreams. Not only this, but she was a devoted mother who adored her children and was a loving and supportive friend to those who surrounded her. In general, Lupe Velez was an energetic and passionate woman who loved life and lived it to the fullest. Her bold outlook on life was contagious, and her infectious laughter could light up a room, as she was one whose lifestyle was one of Hollywood's most famous and eye-catching styles. The more she earned fame, the more she spent money on her lifestyle. The fiery Mexican-born actress with exotic beauty was the one who was seen enjoying rides in the most expensive cars of that time. Not only this, but she was often seen out at nightclubs and parties surrounded by admirers, and that's how her reputation as a seductress grew. At the same time, she was not only famous for her not-to-care attitude and style, but was also well known for her love life, which was full of spice, with various relationships that included Hollywood stars, producers, and even gangsters. Some of her relationships were so scandalous that they made the headlines. The most notorious of these was her relationship with Harlan Ware, a gangster twice her age. Although their relationship was short-lived, it caused a huge scandal in Hollywood and even led her to being blacklisted from the industry. The unmatched couple lasted only for some months, but her image as a playgirl remains till now. After her break-up with Mr. Gangster, she was seen with various other actors. She even enjoyed being in clubs to escape a toxic relationship. Well, we can say that her love life on and off screen was not so different, as her most famous role was in the classic film The Devil is a Woman, in which she played a passionate seductress who used her fiery charms to manipulate men, who were a normal thing for Velez in real life too. Well, whereas everyone thought Velez was living a dream life as she got all the things she wanted, fame, money, luxury and love, but still her statement shocked everyone as she said, "I think the only thing I want to experience is death. Now maybe I'll find peace in it, huh?" And what made everyone cry was her sudden and mysterious death after this statement. On December 13th, 1944, Velez was found dead in her home, in what appeared to be an accidental drowning in her toilet. The mystery of her death began immediately, as there were no witnesses to the events leading up to her death. There were also no notes or farewell messages left behind. In addition, the coroner's report was inconclusive, leading to speculations. The speculation only increased when it was revealed that Velez had been having an affair with a married man, which had caused her much distress. Some believe that the stress of the situation may have driven Velez to take her own life. Others, however, believe that Velez's death was an accident. They point to the fact that Velez had a history of drunkenness, and that she may have passed out in the bathroom and accidentally fallen into the toilet. But still, there is no proof found. So do you think Velez's sudden death was an accident or a murder? Well, one thing we still believe is that regardless of the circumstances of her death, one thing is clear. Lupe Velez's legacy lives on. She is remembered as a beautiful, vibrant woman who impacted Hollywood uniquely and powerfully. Her death may remain a mystery, but her legacy will remain forever. It seems that a woman with a temperament has never had it easy with men. Why, Linda Darnell's husband wanted to sell her to a tycoon. Watch this video now.